I was a little bit nervous to prepare for you because I don't know you, and I wanted to bring something that was helpful to you. So please ask questions at any point, or also let me know if you ask questions or make comments that can help me direct this in a way that's most beneficial for you, okay? So help me out. I wanted to start with an introduction of me. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about me. When I am at a presentation, I always want to know about the person speaking, so this is a little bit about me, my education. I studied English education and literature, and then I got my teaching license in the United States, and I taught junior high and high school English before returning to school to get my master's in TESOL. Is that what you guys are doing? A TESOL certificate, master's? Is that some of you? I want to hear what brought you here in a minute. I have endorsements in ESL, literacy, and English teaching. And I've taught English in a variety of situations. I've taught EFL. I'm currently teaching here in Seoul at the Dong School for North Korean Defectors. I also taught briefly at a university in China. I have taught secondary English in the United States, which is junior high and high school. And I worked as a graduate assistant at Brigham Young University, where I got my master's degree teaching advanced grammar courses to native and non-native speakers. I taught an intensive English program, and I've also done some things as a teacher trainer. So a little bit about my background, some of my students in different places. And, okay, so before we go on, I wanted to hear about you guys. So tell me, there's not very many of us, so we can all share. But tell me, what are you studying, and why did you choose to come to this lecture? So that's two things. What are you studying in regards to TESOL, I guess? And why did you choose to come to this lecture?
Actually, I graduated TESOL in certificate 2015. I started TESOL, master degree, and graduated last year. And then I'm teaching Soder. My student is Samsung Electronics accounting worker. Actually,
He's a really ESP.
Yeah, Samsung guys, they English is really smart and more than me, baby. So every single class, I just really nervous and stressful too much. And business English is that confidence really an old fashion. As you know that cultural uniform title is like email, phone conversation, it's a meeting, maybe business trip. Yeah, that's all they have. But they always ask me something new one, something new curriculum, but something like, critical things. But they can read how to do it.
Yeah.
Because in this Samsung they have a very strict part and security policy. So that means I cannot bring into the classroom any utility, electronic utility. Only bring to the internet paper, that's all.
That's all you're
that's my class.
That's interesting.
So that is really my interesting topic. I'm going to make a new curriculum for that and something electronics employee. So I'm looking for some that will pass to me. And I'm interested in QTA actually.
QTA?
Yeah, so I'm going to mix together and then make more something like go to the depth of the knowledge they can use it.
Okay.
I'm interested in that situation. So that's why I come here discuss with you. How can I create a new curriculums first and teaching others?
Yeah. Great. What about you?
I just wanted curious about this critical thinking. I didn't actually what it's about.
Yeah.
So
Hear the words.
engineer.
Great.
Now I'm studying in SMU TESOL, and the critical and it is helpful to my future teaching, so I continue.
Great.
I'm also taking essay from TESOL. I just want to learn this topic, so
Thank you. Thanks for that.
I'm doing film program and after my classes, I
Have too much, I think.
Here you are. Great. Did you want
I actually work for LM Publications, which is an English textbook company, and I'm a teacher trainer there. And we're always looking for ways to help students to be thinking, not just reciting those words or phrases, right? And so I thought this would be an interesting topic. You know, I'm not a TESOL major, so this QTA, EST, all those like, fields, I'm like writing it down. And so if you could kind of like expand those terms once,
Yeah,
that would
of
be very
course.
helpful. Thanks.
So ESP, which looks like is what you do, is teaching English for specific purposes. And so you teach English, like, for example, if you are an English teacher at a specific company, you have to keep in mind what they will be using English for. And they have a particular vocabulary they have to learn within that, and they have particular tasks that they will have to complete with English. And so you want to align your instruction with what they will be using it for. And so, whatever that might be, like, because the medical field has a very different vocabulary than somebody who's working with technology or Okay, so thank you for introducing yourselves briefly. So critical thinking is an important element of the language classroom. The statement. Pick where you're at, 1 through 7. You're not, I think you all said you're at least mildly interested in this topic, but do you agree, do you disagree? I'm not sure. Do you have a reason? Where would you put yourself on the spectrum?
I agree completely.
Do you have a reason? Yes.
Am I supposed to state the reason?
I just want to, you can pick it if you have what you want to. Do you have a reason? Your number 2. 3 is true. 2. Okay, so this is a very simple critical thinking task because now you've rated you've put yourself on one of these places, and then this is what kind of thinking you just did. First of all, you're not interested, you don't have an opinion, you probably didn't do a lot of thinking about what it was because you weren't interested. 2 and 3, you have an opinion. Can you give reasons for your opinion? Did you think that far? Did you go that far in the critical thinking process? Or did you say yes and stop? Or no and stop? 4 and 5, same response, but we're trying to get students active, right? Active in their thinking, active in their speaking, or whatever activity you're doing. And so the further you went down here, right, the more critical thinking it required. And so this is just an example of where we're trying to get our students to do it. And especially if you're working with adults or professionals, your students already have the critical thinking skills.
Yeah, that's exactly.
We just want to require them to use it in English, right? I mean, that's going to push their language boundaries. Okay, so here are objectives I've outlined for today's presentation. I want to establish the importance of critical thinking skills in general, and to understand how critical thinking skills can be used to promote learning in the language classroom. We're striving for deeper learning. I think several of you mentioned that and why you're coming. We're trying to learn deeper. So, I'm going to give you a piece of paper, and I want you to write your personal goals. I have a paper. We're going to use the back. Okay, so at the top of this piece of paper, if you could just write a goal for today, for this workshop, this next hour that we're going to do.
Our goal and my goal.
Your goal, your personal goal. what is something you want to learn, take away from this? Some of you already shared this when you came. If you could write it down on the top of your paper. So what do you want to learn in this time, or what do you want to take away with you after this workshop? Yes, just in this time. So for example, Jin shared that you said you wanted to learn new ways that you could help your teachers use their material for critical thinking. Or in some you want to find new ways that you can promote thinking in your classroom. This is just for you. Okay. Looks like everyone's been listening in. So what is critical thinking? This is the definition I pulled out from an article I really like. It says critical thinking is an active and cognitive process that involves learners in curiosity to learn something in an organized way and to confirm through evidence. And so, this academic definition, there's a few things I like to pull out of this. One, it's active. It's active and cognitive. So it's demanding of them thinking critically, to analyze, but they have to be active. You can't have passive students thinking critically. And so to me this is so exciting because as a teacher, my goal is always to have my students active because I know that if they're active, they're learning more, and they're more motivated. And so critical thinking is a great way to accomplish that. Someone who is using critical thinking skills, these are some, I guess, flags that you know what they're doing. They're going to understand the links between ideas. They're going to determine the importance and relevance of arguments and ideas, recognize, build, and appraise arguments. That's a really high linguistic skill. Identify inconsistencies and errors in reasoning. A very difficult task in second language, right? In a language that you are studying as a secondary language, approaching problems in a consistent and systematic way, and then reflecting on their own thinking, on their own processes, and on their own justification. And again, so critical thinking, like being able to do this at all is a good, important skill, right? And then we're going to take it to English. And so I want you to do a web note with me today. So somewhere on your paper, start with critical thinking. I want you to make like a circle or a box or whatever shape you want. And in your own words, what is critical thinking? So just, what does critical thinking mean to you? As we continue to build off your web, I'm going to give you some other prompts. I love this particular strategy of having visual notes or a web. There's many different ways you can do this because it allows me to see my students thinking. It gives me evidence they're thinking. One way that I like to do that. Okay, so what did you guys decide? As teachers, as students, what is critical thinking?
Thinking is so students can use it as their grasp of the technology, but go to straight down to that. That is thinking deeply, try to more and more. That is the example of critical thinking.
Depth of knowledge.
Yeah.
I like that word, deep for depth.
Yeah.
Agreed. Anybody else want to add to that?
It's kind of like what she's saying. They have like, each person has different knowledge, vocabulary, words, but when given an input of information, they're able to output with their own thoughts and ideas and opinions with it. There's got to be output, not exact same words and vocabularies, but output is different, but it's of their own ideas and opinion. For me, that's critical thinking. There's an input and output.
Yeah, I think that's part of the active learning process. You're not only
Inputting information.
given to like taking knowledge in, but you're also putting it out. You're producing. Production is an important part of critical thinking. Yeah, agreed. Now I feel like I need to update my my definition because you guys made it better. But this is what I came up with. Thinking clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe, and includes the ability to engage in a reflective and independent thinking. Okay, I feel like this is inadequate now because I want to include more clearly what you said, but this is just my own thinking. And so, but because critical thinking happens inside, right, we have to be very, I guess, deliberate about how we engage our students in this process. And so I have an example for you of a puzzle. So this is just like mini critical thinking. Can you name 3 consecutive days without using the words Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday?
What is consecutive?
Consecutive in a row. So if things are consecutive, they're next to each other. So like these 2 chairs are like consecutive, or like so 3 days that are next to each other would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thank you for asking. That was a great example of how we learn new vocabulary. Are you having any ideas?
Today?
Yeah, I guess maybe today, tomorrow. Okay. I don't know which of you like shared that first. You both get a prize, yeah? I have.
Oh, what? You didn't tell us about the prize.
Oh, well, now you know. There'll be another chance.
Wow.
If you want to trade later, you can trade. Oh, was it you that said it? I did not. Okay. So yeah, yesterday, today, tomorrow. So how did you solve that puzzle? What was your mental process?
Get out of the idea
Okay, so get away from the names of the days. Any other? What else?
I was thinking holidays. Is there consecutive holidays? Like Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, holidays. But that's not days.
But it was critical thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
I think this design standard today, like today, and then extend
From that. And then you extended your thought from today. Okay. So that second step, analyzing why we thought the way we did, is part of critical thinking, right? So this is also, something like this is a very simple way to mix up your classroom, right? To change the energy, to re-involve people mentally. And this isn't necessarily specific to English, but it's a challenge. It's an English challenge within the context, right? Okay. Also, I find competition really motivates some of my students to think critically that maybe would never. Have you found that? At all ages. Okay. So, language skills plus critical thinking. When we put these together, we're going to have a deeper language proficiency, and we're going to allow our students to express their intellectual perspectives. Many people, I know this is a challenge for me in the languages I've studied other than English. English is my native language, but it's so frustrating to be unable to express yourself adequately in situations when you need to or want to. And so, if we prepare for that in the classroom, they will be better able to do that in the situations that they need to outside of the classroom. One example of this is, have any of you heard of the OPI exam? OPI exam, it's a common exam in the US. Many, like, if you go to the graduate school in the United States from another country, it's a common requirement. And it's the oral proficiency, something. It's an exam. So it just tests your oral proficiency, not reading or writing. And what they do to test on this particular test, and you can take it in any language, is they will start with low-level tasks, and they will become more and more complex until you experience language breakdown, right? Until you no longer able to complete that task in the language. And so I took this exam in Tagalog, because I speak Tagalog, and this is where I broke down. It was when I got to the critical thinking tasks. I could introduce myself, and I could describe things, and I could give directions, and I could talk about my family and talk about my friends. But once they were like, okay, tell me, like, it gave me a critical thinking problem, my language, like, quit on me. And so for me, I've experienced this personally, and I know it can be so frustrating. And so we can also do that for our students, right? Give them a task, and when they experience that breakdown, this can be low-level learners, very, very advanced learners. When they show gaps in their L2, their second language, we can see what we need to fill, whether that's vocabulary or grammar or whatever it is that they're experiencing a breakdown in. I love this article by Brown and Healy, and they said that EFL teachers need to raise the level of teaching from simply knowledge and comprehension to researching, reflecting, and evaluation. Knowledge and comprehension, those need to be taught always, right? We need to teach, the basic grammar principles and vocabulary, but beyond that, we need to take that and then do something with that knowledge. And it's so easy, especially for many EFL teachers, to get stuck in knowledge and comprehension, because it's what we know, it's what we're comfortable with, it's often easier to teach, and these things push us out of our comfort zone as teachers and as students, because not only are you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, but you're asking your students to step out of their comfort zone. And that can be difficult to do. All right. I want you to add to your what. So with this thought, what does it mean to you as a teacher, teachers or teacher of students? What does this mean to your practice? Yeah.
To be able to do that, analytically, you need critical thinking.
The teacher has to use it as well. Is that what you mean?
Because just knowing the language, you can't get the flavor.
Yeah. So you have to be very intentional as a teacher if you're going to accomplish this.
I feel like some of the mistakes I've made in the past as a teacher was that I didn't quite understand the level of the student, and so my questions, my intentions were good, but it was beyond their ability. And so I feel like knowing that, and second, like she said, I as a teacher need to kind of do the critical thinking process myself and know which angle the children possibly could be coming
that, especially with these critical thinking tasks, you really have to know the level of your students and what they're capable of. However, on the other side of that, like, if you create a critical thinking task that is too difficult or too easy linguistically for your students, you will know very quickly it's too difficult or it's too easy. And so it's a good way to learn your students' levels and what their abilities are and what their gaps are, and then adjust your teaching accordingly. If all you're doing is knowledge and comprehension, you can get a long way down that road without realizing that your students are bored or not understanding. And so this is a really good way to have those checks.
To be honest, like, how do you get students to be motivated and actually get them to critical?
To engage in critical thinking?
Yeah.
What do you guys think? How would you get students to engage in critical thinking?
It's too hard. Really. Actually, it's Korean students with a special habit. They don't want to speak even and they don't want to speak in English in the English class.
But
They're so quiet. So I don't know. So they are thinking if you are just in June also, I cannot divide it in students thinking. I cannot read it. So it's too hard teaching Korean students. They never say in the class. So how can I really make something class measurement in the critical thinking in the class? So I try to do the activities something like debate. So it's debate. But the problem is even they graduate and it's holiday on the day, but anyway they never say in the debate activities. Their sentence was short.
The debates?
Yeah, so the answer is yes or no. I bring to the really critical issue and from this Arian News and CNN, something like interesting topic.
Yeah.
But they are some other new. They have just a listening that is just useful. Just in the listening learning is Korean. So I don't need education.
So if we're breaking the mold of what Korean students expect or are comfortable with, that makes it even more difficult.
Oh.
Yeah. Have you experienced that as well? That students are uncomfortable with this? Okay, so I'll give you some of my ideas or things I've tried because this is a problem or a challenge that you will face in most classrooms. Some will be easier, some will be harder. If you have any other ideas, please add them to my thoughts. Yeah, because I face this in Korea with Korean students, in America with American teenagers who are like, oh, I don't care. But first of all, interest. You mentioned this. Trying to find things that they're interested in. And sometimes you can't hit all the students at the same time. They don't all share the same interests. But finding, and that could be topics they're interested in or tasks they're interested in. As English teachers, we have this advantage that you can make anything a language task. You just have to have them do it in English. Anything from a game to like a real life task, like buying something from the store, right? That in English, that's appropriate because we have to do it in English. And so anything that they're interested in. So also needs. This can be difficult because as EFL teachers, we're teaching a foreign language. Many of our students don't use the language outside of class. And so that affects their motivation. So trying to identify situations in which they would actually want to use English or maybe be interested in it or motivated in it. And that makes it seem more pertinent or applicable to them. Competition is one I like to use, right? Like, you win if you do this, right? Students are often motivated by that or a game of some kind. Also, I feel like for me in a classroom, the most important thing that I do that helps my students be motivated to engage in the learning is to build relationships with them and to build a culture within your classroom where, this is what we do. We try, we learn, we make mistakes, and that takes time, right? Building relationships and knowing your students, but building relationships will help you with all those other things, because once you have a relationship with the students, they're going to be more motivated to engage in what you create and what you offer them, but you will also know more about them, so you will be better able to interest them. I don't know. Did I answer the question a little bit? Do you have anything you can add, other tips or experience? How do you get students to buy in to the learning experience?
At the beginning of the semester, I prepared for some questionnaire about what's your hobby or what's your interest, and then I use the contents in the PPT.
Yeah.
So
And that probably, the students feel appreciated when they see that, like, oh, like, because they know where you got it, probably. That's a great idea. Yeah, you can be really transparent about what you're doing. Anything else? Okay, if it comes to you throughout, please throw it in, because I feel like that's a never-ending challenge for teachers, right? Engaging your students. Okay, do you know Bloom's taxonomy? Okay, so for those of us who don't know or are new to Bloom's taxonomy, what is it? Say it again. Higher thinking skills. Yeah, where does it come from? The man himself, Bloom. I don't remember his first name, Dr. Bloom. Yeah. He created this pyramid of higher thinking. So if we're looking at it like, what is the goal? Yeah, this is what we're working towards. And I love this visual because we said earlier, like comprehend, or the knowledge and comprehension, we have to do those, right? They are the foundation. We have to remember vocabulary. We have to understand grammatical principles if we're going to be able to work our way up to the top, right? Create new things. And this, I love this too because it applies in language education, but it applies in science and history, like everywhere. This is just how we learn. And so our goal as teachers is to get our students higher up as high up the pyramid as we can, as often as we can. And we have to build a foundation first and continue to work up. And so I use this constantly in my own teaching to help me remember what my goal is, because it's so easy to find myself at the bottom continually. And so I use this to evaluate my own teaching, to work my way up. And so, right, teaching is like constant practice. You're always learning. Okay. So, and on your papers, on the back, I have a list of Bloom's taxonomy action verbs. And you can see I have the bottom of the pyramid on the left-hand side, and we work up to create on the right-hand side. And I love Bloom's taxonomy as a tool for creative, critical thinking, because it gives me the words I need to use, or I need to have my students use, to accomplish critical thinking. I know if I'm just having them do these things, they aren't thinking critically. They're just comprehending, they're just responding, and I want them to be applying, analyzing, evaluating, creating. Those are the critical thinking skills. And so this also, like, if I'm like, what am I going to do for this? Like, because I hit that wall regularly as a teacher. I'm like, okay, we're practicing this. What am I going to have them do? I come to this, and I'm like, oh, examine, push it, and it gives me ideas for new tasks that I can do with my students. So, I also like this image because you can Google this one. Or share anything with you. I found this on Google. But it has them in the middle, and then it has the appropriate verbs here, and then it has products, like ideas for things students can do. So for example, you're like, okay, we're working on analysis. They already know these words. do. Like, oh, I could have them take a survey or survey each other, or I could have them, do any of these things. We could have arguing, and so that they can create, gives you ideas, I guess. 'Cause I'm always looking for ideas. Has anyone seen this before?
No.
Have you used Bloom's taxonomy in your classroom? No, it's new to some of you.
I just used this in a creative level because my students they have the OP in first grade, so they speaking probably really is a high level students, so I gave them something like tasks.
Yeah.
So for example, activity words like that, so like thinking about Snow White and movie, like a book story.
Yeah.
And then make a text, make some summary, and then share the story with your members. After that, what is next happening there's getting this marriage? What is the next life? What is happening to their life? Something like make story by yourself.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a terrific pattern to follow because especially in an English language classroom, you have to make sure they have the tools they need first, right? Do they have the vocabulary? Do they have the context? And so the summary accomplishes that, right? Do we have comprehension? And then once you have comprehension, you can move up to applying, analyzing, creating, and it's a very scaffolded approach. But in my classroom, I try to have as many of my assessments and tests up here as possible. Like this is where I want to be able to evaluate my students. Because if they can do this, I know they can do all of this. Right? If they can create this story, then I know that they have the vocabulary and grammar that we practice to get there. And so to me but they also have those more complex skills available to them. So that's what I like to do. So I'm back to this definition. We're trying to raise or actually, I prefer your way of saying it, deepen our knowledge, deepen the teaching in our classroom to researching reflective abilities. I say raise because it reminds me of the pyramid, but deepen is really better. Okay. You ready for another? Oh, never mind. Okay, so I want you to choose one of the basic tasks in English: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And either on your own or together, just take a minute and create a critical thinking question or task. All right? So you can use Bloom's taxonomy or not. Just think about, okay, and maybe something you're doing in your classroom right now, or just think of a situation for any of these tasks and create a question or a task using Bloom's taxonomy. I want you to practice. Okay? And we'll take 5 minutes to do this. So then if you need to take a break or get a drink really quick, you can. Okay? And then we'll share.
Choosing one of them.
Yeah, just choose one. I said each of them, but let's just do one. Let's not work back. If you want to do more than one, do it. That's nice. Thank you. Yeah, I kind of just in any kind of lecture-based classroom, I think it disappears. I think that's what we see that in the it's becoming more important for the students. And because technology has changed our lives so much.
can all do it so we can get any information anytime.
It's interesting. It's an interesting challenge too because it has courses to change the way we teach.
Right, exactly.
Yes. Was the task too ambiguous that I gave you? Or did it work? Too ambiguous? What did you choose, reading? Yeah, you did level 1. Good! Can you think of something maybe here? Oh, you're doing all of them. That's a good idea. You can like work your way up. Oh, and then you have something ready. Yeah, because then you can kind of read something and then they can apply it through writing. Yeah, reading is a really difficult one because you can't really take reading to a higher level without using one of these other skills, right? The only way to assess reading is through writing, speaking, or listening. Okay. Does anybody want to share the task or question they created? Easy Bloom's taxonomy.
Is it okay just one sentence?
Yeah.
Describe your technology that makes your life easier.
Yeah. Okay. And what level were you using?
Create.
Yeah. So you had them describe, which is just telling them, but that thinking process, what things are going to make your life easier. It's a really challenging thing. Yeah. I love it. Anybody else want to share what they think about it?
I don't know if I did it right, but I said interview your parents, find out the difference and similarities in school life from theirs to the parents. And then the task was report them in writing and then present it on Friday.
That was a whole project.
Yeah, it's a whole project.
Yeah.
I thought we had to do all 4.
You did all 4. that was amazing. Yeah. In fact, I want to do that project. That's such a fun one. So you did all these different steps. Also, doing something with your parents like that, that's going to be motivating to a lot of students because it's very personal, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully that's the goal, right?
They won't get into fight.
Yeah, they might end up fighting. They always say that. There's a joke in English. Maybe you've heard it. They always say like, in my day, we walked uphill both ways through 2 feet of snow, and they always say that like when the older generation says it's harder.
Yeah, Korean has that.
Yeah, it's equivalent. Okay. Okay, I have another puzzle for you. With a different prize. The more you take, the more you leave behind. It's a riddle.
Yes. Yes, age or years.
I feel like you found a second right answer. That works, doesn't it? Like age.
Totally.
It totally works. That's not the answer I had, though. So there's still another right answer out there. You might not want to get it right the second time because it's the same prize. Does anyone else think of it?
Waste.
Waste.
Or
bad. I have such a hard time with riddles. I'm impressed that you were good with some
Yeah.
answers.
Okay, yes, you want?
I think she wants to. She said it's a second. Hint?
Okay. That was what she said. And I like it. I give her credit for it.
Is it something physical thing?
Yeah, this was my hint.
The footprint.
Yeah, that's what
Oh.
Yeah, we're here. She can trade. She can trade later. These are good prizes. I should say more about them when I give them to you. These prizes and the other ones I have they're resources from the American English website, so they're also available online. I brought you some hard copies as prizes, but they're also available online. The first one was games and activities for class, and then have them across the felt. You can find them online if you're setting this out. Okay, put this. Okay, so deep breath. So have you guys heard of communicative teaching? Communicative language teaching. This was kind of touched on at the last TESOL conference by the plenary speaker, but here, Sookmyung University, but even if you don't fully embrace this approach to language teaching, communicative language teaching, I feel like it has a place in the classroom. So I do not exclusively use communicative teaching in my classroom, but I love to use communicative language tasks in my classroom. I feel like that's really appropriate because it requires critical thinking. It's built upon critical thinking. And so, in case you're not familiar with it, communicative language tasks is task-based learning, right? You give the students a task that they must complete, and that forces them to learn the language, right? They learn the language by completing the task. So, like, okay, you have to, you have to buy something at the store. This is how I'm learning Korean. So then you okay, so you try and accomplish it, and you realize, I don't know how to say this, I don't know how to do this. And so then they learn those things to complete the task. And so it's very needs-based learning. So it is good for critical thinking because it requires personalization. Each person is going to do different, there's different needs. Investigation, they have to think about what do I need to know, what do I need to do for this task, and then they have to problem solve. And all of those things are going to make them think critically. And the other benefit of these tasks is authentic communication. Right? It's very real language, very authentic. So that's going to be different for different people. What you come up with a task, if you're teaching, junior high students, their task is going to be different than if you're teaching business professionals in a program. Their task is probably going to be related to their work versus a lower level English. So you can adapt it to any level, to any needs, to any students. But it's going to require scaffolding, which, definition of scaffolding, educators? Oh, wow! Yes! Vygotsky would be proud. Yeah, Vygotsky introduces the scaffolding. What does scaffolding mean? How do we scaffold?
Stage.
Yeah, take them one step at a time, right? And it's kind of like working your way up that pyramid. And so you give your students enough, or you give them the tools they need to succeed. I can talk all day about scaffolding. We won't. So very basic example of scaffolding, but they wanted to play Jenga. Do you know the game Jenga? Where you pull the blocks out? So I let them play Jenga, and we just played it, and everything they said in Korean. And then after, I was like, okay, let's write down all the things you said. None of you spoke English. And so we wrote down everything they said during the game, like, watch out, or not that one, or this one. And we wrote them all down, and I'm like, okay, how do we say that in English? And we figured out how to say all those things in English, and then they played again in English. And that was one way I scaffolded at a very low level. And now, when they come to class, you know how to say that in English, because you know what to say when something falls, right? Or you know how to say watch out, or be careful, because we learned it playing that game. So, scaffolding for critical thinking. Whew. I feel like I've started talking really fast. When I get excited, I start talking faster and faster. Tell me if I need to slow down. Okay. This is an example of critical thinking, of scaffolding. And it's like an opinion reason generator. You can adapt this to any task, like speaking task. And so I have them like, okay, here are some ways you can begin, some things you can express your opinion on, because in this particular case, they have to generate their own reason why. So I've scaffolded them by saying, okay, we're practicing these phrases, these are topics, because I've given you the format. You don't have to think too hard about that. We're just practicing it. But you do have to generate your own reason, right? And you can take this away. You can take this part away completely, or you can adapt this to different topics, or you can simplify it, right? Or build it up. And having something like this doesn't mean they're not critically thinking. We're just chose what we want them to think about. We made this part easier so that they can work harder here. And this can be a good strategy for having students engaged as well, because if a task is too overwhelming, sometimes they'll quit. Like, oh, that's too hard, I don't want to do this. But here, like, okay, she's made it easy for me, but you have to think about this, you know. And so being really deliberate about, okay, what do I actually want them to practice critically? Okay, I want them to, just say this a whole bunch of times so they get practice with repetition here. That's what I decided I wanted for this task, right? And so, don't be scared of having scaffolding in the classroom. Use it. Okay. I made a quick list of other ideas. This is literally endless. These are some of my favorite ideas. Recognizing content, making connections between topics, evaluating reliability of sources, taking a stance. You mentioned that one earlier. Identifying arguments and supporting evidence, factor opinion, Socratic circles. Some of these are more appropriate for higher students. Some are more appropriate for lower students. But this is a very, very, very short list. Like, we could make a list forever. And yeah. If you don't even found any of these, you can ask me. If you want to talk about Socratic circles sometime, call me, email me. I love Socratic circles. They're so good for this. Okay, I have another example of a task. Using this book. This is available. This is another American English one, and I have a copy. I think we have enough copies for everybody. So I'll have one of these ones today. It's also available online. I actually access this online because I just found the text myself. I just was looking for an authentic text. So when we say authentic text, we're looking for something that is like real English, like how English is actually used, right? Or how language is actually used. And so to me that's really important, first of all, because it's more helpful to the students. Also, it's more motivating. People are more interested in authentic text. And also, I have to say, I feel like this is another great challenge of English teachers finding authentic text. It can be very difficult sometimes. And so, we're going to create an analytical task that utilizes this text. American teenagers. So this would probably be a text that's most appealing to a secondary audience if you teach them. So just open up, find an interview that you are interested in. And look, these are ones I printed offline, off the internet, so you can also access it there. And just choose any one, it doesn't matter which one. Okay, so this is the one I put on the PowerPoint. Sol, she's 17. And you can see that these are interviews, which this would be like a fun way to introduce your project with doing an interviewing somebody. So they've interviewed an American teenager. It has some nice, if there are any vocabulary words that are, they're mostly cultural vocabulary words that maybe students haven't encountered. They're here, or idioms or other terms, and then there's discussion questions. So I feel like these are very accessible to teachers as well. Let's look at it. How would you adapt this reading to a critical thinking task? How could we use this? How would students read it and then create a critical thinking task? What do you guys think? Just think for a couple minutes. Oh, this is your test. Just brainstorm. How would you use this in your classroom? Or could?
I have something.
Here?
So I have Max.
Page 6.
Page 6. Max was this guy that I had a crush on in high school, so that's why I picked the name.
Because you have fond memories of Max.
Yes, exactly. The questions that he was asked is, what have you been doing this week? And he's in a band, so band team went abroad to another place and had a little competition, and they were sightseeing. And so with that, I looked at your taxonomy list, and there's a word design that popped to my mind, design and develop. And so I think I would have given my students or have them come up with like itinerary if they're to go. So where would you like to go?
Plan an itinerary.
Plan an itinerary.
Oh, that's fun. Now
That'd be fun, huh?
that's very motivating to me. I want to engage in that. Okay. Great example. Thank you. Any other? Did you come up with any other ideas?
Anything?
Oh. I'll give you something.
Wait, I'm just kidding.
Now that I have prizes. Yeah. This one's a create, like, using art in the English classroom.
Perfect.
I can share this. And if there are 14 students, I make them do pairs and make them to read aloud, or if they can, memorize it. The question and the answer.
Okay.
Interviewing.
All right, so we've got several different levels of learning in that activity. Great. Hey, thanks to Jordan. Any other ideas? Oh, any other serving suggestions?
I'm gonna using the lab this interview form, so we're gonna create a group discuss and then reporter and then answer and then switch the role and then compare your answer, my answer, what's the differences and report and then make next then customer and deeply interview.
Interesting. So that has an element of the communicative language task in it too, because you're like, okay, you're going to do this, and they have some text as a model, but they also are going to have to try and think. Great. Okay. And that has speaking, listening, and also reading and comprehending.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 3 wonderful examples. Do you have something to say? So she was going to have one, like, put them in pairs, and one student would be the reporter, the interviewer, and one student would be the interviewee, the subject, and they would conduct an interview.
Yeah.
Inspired by these interviews. Any other suggestions or ideas that you guys wanted to share? No? Again, you can see the possibilities are endless, right? Even like you just have one text, it can be anything that you have available to you or on the internet, and you can be inspired for different tasks. This one also has listening elements. So there's a CD, you can listen to the interviews. They're also available on the website as MP3 files, and so you can listen to them as well. I'm not saying this book isn't the only way to do these activities, right? You can implement them in many different ways. Okay. Just one last point with this. When you have different options of different interests, so like if you made several different interviews available and your students get to choose the one they like, that's a way to build motivation. And you can do that with any article or any reading. If you can create options, even if it's only 2 or 3 different options, and your students have choice is a really good way to build motivation, and so they can choose which one they're interested in. You mentioned that you chose Max because you had an attachment to the name Max, right? It's motivating when we're interested. Okay. Oops. Okay. A couple examples of communicative language tasks. They can also be practical. So, like the academic, like this interview, conducting as a reporter, purchasing an item, making a phone call. I think making a phone call is one of the most stressful language tasks because you have to rely entirely on listening and speaking, and that is hard. So that's a great way to practice. Asking for directions. These are things I was thinking of because these are things I've been struggling with in Korea. But okay, another example. We're not going to do this in a time, but this is a very basic example of a communicative. Well, it's basic. You can make it more advanced. Blindfold a student, right? And then help. So if I'm blindfolded, the speakers have to get me from here to the back of the room just by giving me directions. And you could have students like, okay, just do it. And then you're going to quickly find out which words or phrases the students need to complete this task. You can teach them, they can practice them, and they're thinking critically because they're thinking about the process, right? They're going to have to think, what do I need to be able to say to do this task? And they're going to be like, okay, maybe I need to know right and left, or go around. And they're going to be thinking of those in their native language, and thinking, okay, how do I need to learn those? And that brings an element of critical thinking to the process because they have to be self-aware and analyze their own understanding and their own progress. Okay, we're not going to do this puzzle because time, but autonomous learners. So, connecting to what I just said about activities, right? Helping students be self-aware. If they are reflecting on their own learning, they are thinking critically, right? And so if they are evaluating their own ability, their own understanding, they're thinking critically. And that is such a powerful tool at any level, right? If we are going to be autonomous learners, meaning we can take control of our own learning, we have to be thinking critically. And so that's true of anybody in any endeavor. And so we can help our students become autonomous learners. And to me, these are the three most important steps to helping your students become autonomous learners. First of all, you have to create clear learning goals. As a teacher, you need to know exactly what skills or vocabulary or tasks your students need to learn, or what you are hoping for them to accomplish. You have to be very specific about it. And then two, share those goals with your students. Make sure your students know what your objective is. So you know the objective as a teacher, make sure your students know as well. And then together you are working towards the same goal. If a student just shows up to class and is like, I'm doing whatever my teacher tells me to do, it's going to be very different than they're like, oh, that's what we're learning today. I am responsible to learn that. Right? I'm just not here to do what my teacher says. There's a big difference in what will happen in your classroom. And then having students measure their own learning. So of course, as a teacher, you're going to measure, you're going to assess their learning. The students need to know how they did. So if they're like, okay, this is the goal, and this is how I did. I reached the goal, or I didn't reach the goal, or I came close to the goal. They're suddenly they're self-aware. And to me, this is one of the most motivating things you can do as a teacher, is put that on the students. Like, you're here to help them, but they have to choose to learn. So they need to know the goal and then decide how to reach it. So you can accomplish this in many different ways. I'm going to share a couple things I do to do this. But like I said, there are many, many ways you can accomplish this. One thing I do is I pick the primary learning objective each day. And the first thing I do when I come to my classroom is I write it on the board. So today I shared with you our two learning objectives for this. I do that with my students. I write it on the board. And then at the end of class, I come back and I read it to them in class, and I'm like, do we understand it? Okay, we're going to do it. And then at the end of class, I'm like, did we reach this goal? Did you reach this goal? Did we do it? Do we need to do work on it more? And we talk about it. And sometimes it's very brief, but for me, in my classroom, it makes a huge difference. And then the other one is self-evaluation. So having students measure their own learning, I create rubrics. This is an academic one, right? This is for an academic class. This is what I could find this morning. But having autonomous learners, they had to complete a close reading assignment, and then they had to self-evaluate. That doesn't mean I don't also evaluate them, but they have to self-evaluate. And I find that with practice, my students become very accurate at self-evaluation. It takes a little bit of practice, but so I tell them, okay, this is our goal. Like here, this is what we want to do. We want to have a dialogue with text. We want to really understand this text. And I'm very specific about what that means, right? This is what it looks like. If you complete this well, if you're proficient, this is what it looks like. And so I give them a clear measure of proficiency. And I think that's That's very important. You're very clear with your students that it's very transparent and easy for them to understand. And then tell the students exactly where they're going. Oh, sorry. I should be lowercase. So, and then they need to know exactly where they are, right? And so you can do that by giving them a test. You can do that by having them complete a task, and they'll then think about how they did, right? Just that extra step of what was your thought process? How did you do? And then they also need to show the students where they need to go. So they need to know where they're at, and then where they need to go. So this is a 4-point one. So like 1 is their beginner, 4 means they're proficient, right? This is just one rubric. You can adapt any rubric to this. Here's another one. This is for writing a paragraph. And so the first time my students write a paragraph, I tell them where they're at. I'm like, you are here. You don't know what you're doing. But this is what you're going to do, right? This is the goal. And so then they can see what it means to get there. And if you're working with lower level students, I would do this in their native language if possible, so that they can, like, if they can, because it's very important that they can understand this part of the process. And here's another one that I did for a presentation. And you can see I have a preference for the 4-point efficiency scale, but you can do it with any. My point is just, they know what the expectation is. They know exactly what it looks like. You can see I've said for this presentation, they include the title, the author, brief summary of the book, and this is a lower level task. Some of the others you work higher level. And I've been very specific though. And so then they know the goal, and they're like, okay, if they can recognize that, I'm here, then they have to think about what do I need to change to get here? What do I need to change to improve? What are the gaps in my own knowledge? And then they can fix that. So they're not just reliant only on what the teacher says and what the teacher tells them. Okay.
Just worry about this words score. So in my opinion, that score is almost as common as my subject key writers. So I just worry about that. Some students recently started complaining.
They complain?
Yeah, what's interesting since score different with my partner and me. But how can I explain to something more objectively?
That's one of the other reasons I love rubrics, is it keeps me consistent as a teacher. And for me, it makes it very easy to explain to a student, why they got this grade versus a different grade. Because I'm like, well, you had this, and this, but you didn't have, you were missing these things, or you didn't complete these things, or you weren't able to analyze. And for most of my rubrics, the difference between, proficient and advanced is the depth they reached on their critical thinking in most cases. And so, like for this writing a paragraph, they're proficient if they have a topic sentence, they have evidence, an explanation, and a link. But the difference between that proficient score, which is like a B in my mind, and this one is here they have more evidence. They've analyzed it. They've been more analytical about their approach. It uses and so for me, the rubrics are the answer to that. I try and use rubrics. They do take time to create, but for me, it's worth the time because it helps me be consistent. It helps me explain to students why they got what they got, and it makes my students more autonomous. And if you use the same rubric, like progressively, like as you're working on the same skill, the students are going to be able to monitor their own growth on that skill. And be more, I don't know, did that help? That's just what I do though. So, I know. One last puzzle? This was hard. I couldn't figure this one out. Here's what we start. This is our last puzzle, and then we're going to have questions. So. 8-letter word. take away a letter and it still makes a word. Take another letter, keep taking another letter away, and it's a word until there's only one letter left. Like there's too many options. I'm just gonna take the answer. Because I think this, even though I think this was hard, I think it's so cool. Starting with staring for a string for a string. So I love English.
I was thinking, and then 8.
Okay, questions. You guys have any questions for me at the end of this? Look back to your question at the top. Did we hopefully meet your goal, achieve your goal that you set at the beginning? Your question?
I just want to ask you which approach is more appropriate to the end using the group test me like textbook? Yes, it's fine. But how about things like YouTube, some like popular creator, something like news, I feel like video something. Is it as good authentic text like using video?
I would say, I mean, it depends on the video, but if it meets your topic and your tasks, absolutely. I think videos or pop culture are a very excellent way to bring authentic and motivating language into the classroom. So, yeah, these principles can be applied to any text.
Take a stance means.
Take a stance, like the phrase. So if you take a stance, it means you choose a position. Like in an argument or a debate, you take a side, you choose. This is what I believe. This is my opinion. Take a stance. Literally, take a stance in English means like I take a physical stance, right? This is my position of my body, but it's an idiom that means to choose a side.
You think that mixed class?
Mixed class.
Yes, mixed letters is mixed. Is it possible to using there is critical thinking?
I would say yes. To me, it might be more challenging. Are you talking about mixed ability?
Yes, mixed ability.
And so, this is one of the reasons I really like critical thinking tasks in my classroom, is because you will never have a classroom where everybody is exactly the same level, right? That will never happen. Critical thinking tasks, though, are already built for different levels, right? Because if students are trying to complete a task, they have different gaps in their knowledge, and that lends itself to a critical thinking task because they find their own gaps and they fill them. You need to help them, and so I would say it's especially good for a mixed classroom. But I know that can be challenging.
It's challenging.
Socratic circles.
Yes.
That
Socratic circles. I'll give you a quick overview. You can Google this. You can email me if you want more resources. But Socratic circles are where students prepare on a certain topic. So I use it most often with reading. Like we all read the same text or novel, and then students have a task and they have to prepare. And each, like let's say there's a group of 4 people, right? You guys are a group. Each person will prepare a different thing on the same text. So they all read the same thing and they prepare different things. So maybe one of them focuses on, okay, this is the new vocabulary in this section of the text, and they prepare all the new vocabulary. And the next one, she creates 5 discussion questions, and they each do something. And then they come to class and they have a discussion, and the teacher does not engage. They simply observe. And I like to do it so that the rest of the class observes, and each group sits in the middle, and they share what they've learned, and they prepare. And so that way they're teaching each other. And critical thinking happens at almost every step of the way.
Is there any way to think critically?
Yeah.
Is there any way?
Any way to think critically
Easy way to English?
in English? Well, I mean, it can be as simple as a short question, right? Like if it's a critical thinking question, and you're asking them to do it in English, Yeah.
Asking question is the way.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. Or like those little short puzzles. I threw those in. That's a short critical thinking task. Yeah, so they can be small. The Socratic Circle is more of a long, like a project type thing. It's going to happen over a space of time or days. But it can be a 5-minute task. It can be a semester-long one.
I think you would think you will want to start with the small, shorter one, and eventually build up to a bigger project like that at the beginning.
Absolutely.
If Korean, like she said earlier, Korean students are not used to doing critical thinking, so you gotta get them into that habit by doing those small, more fun puzzle questions and get them more, thinking another little longer one, a little more difficult.
And for you as a teacher too, like I had to work my way up to these. Like they feel uncomfortable for sometimes as a teacher if you're new to them, and so trying smaller things, more manageable things, and working your way up is a pretty good idea too.
Like scaffolding, right?
Yeah, scaffold yourself too. And okay, good.
Yeah.
Those couple sources. This is my email. Feel free to email me if you want. I can give you a card as well. And that's my information. Also, I have a couple other things for you. Okay. And this is the English Language Program's website. You can find all the resources I shared with you there today. I have a bookmark for you if you want to take it. They're all free. You can share them with other teachers and coworkers as well. And we also brought a copy of the English Teaching Forum, which is a forum magazine for English teachers that is produced by English Language Programs, and I really like it. I use it myself, so. And that's how you can find them there. So, perfect. Thank you so much for coming. Please come and get one of these before you go. And it was nice to meet you.
Are you going to stop this?